Hey guys, before I start the video, I just wanted to say that if there are any games that you'd want me to take a look at, or review, or hey, even just play and maybe do a let's play, let me know. Put it down in the comments below and I'll see if I can get to them. Hey guys, it's Baron of Backpack, and today I'm going to be looking at Dead Effect 2. Dead Effect 2 is developed and published by BadFly Interactive, and it's a sci-fi horror first-person shooter where you, the player, play as an elite soldier who's aboard a large colony ship that's destined for a far-off land, and what you're trying to do is you're trying to take back control of the colony ship from an evil doctor who's been doing really weird experiments, especially with cloning, which has created a lot of zombies and other terrifying monsters they have to fight your way through in order to take back the ship. After playing the first few tutorial missions, you get access to the main hub of the game. From here you'll access the missions, weapons, gear, implants, and abilities that all give you various bonuses and upgrades during combat and gameplay. Here you'll meet Danette, an enhanced human scientist who's in charge of providing abilities and missions for you. You'll also meet Minikin, an engineer who will give you access to new weapons and will also upgrade those weapons if you need them. And you'll also meet Belek, a surgeon who can give you additional gear options that'll help upgrade your armor, maybe your stamina, power, things like that. And will also be able to give you implants, which will give you bonuses such as better accuracy and things of that nature. Now, when choosing what mission you want to play, you have access to actually quite a few different kinds of missions. You can play in story mode, you can play generic missions, which I found kind of an interesting name because they're called generic missions. I mean, kind of feels like the developer didn't really care about them either, so it's kind of hard to care about them too. It's a strange naming convention. It probably would have been better to call them, just missions or random missions, something like that, but I digress. There's also biohazard missions, and these function kind of like wave defense missions. Just hold out as long as you can against a certain number of enemies, progress to the next wave, do it again, that kind of thing. Then there's survival missions where you're trying to stay alive for a certain amount of time, usually 4 minutes, 5 minutes, that kind of thing. There's Lone Wolf, where you fight against soldiers and try to complete objectives while doing so. And finally, there's Infestation, where the idea is that you're clearing out sections of the ship from these zombies that you've been fighting the whole time. And at the end, you fight a final boss. Once you do that, you win the mission and you can pick another one. Now, I actually really like the fact that there are a lot of different game modes you can play until I realized that what would end up happening is that after a while, your story progression starts to get to a point where the required level for you to actually continue on in the story is higher than what you're actually getting XP-wise by completing the story missions. Meaning that you actually are kind of forced to play the side missions, whether you like it or not. And it's very strange. I don't like being forced to play them. Like, if I want to go and play Survival or Infestation, great. But I don't feel like I should be made to go do it. In general, combat is actually pretty fun. You can run around shooting zombies in the face, they explode, it's fun. You get new weapons and gear as you go along, as random drops by enemies you kill. You can also get instant use things like medkits and batteries, ammo, things like that. And like I said, in general, it's actually pretty fun, but the problem is that you kind of start to notice after a while it starts to feel just a tad sluggish. Your movement is a little slow. Sometimes it doesn't seem like it's very responsive. The melee can be awkward at best. And a lot of times it'll get kind of stale after a while. You'll notice this after playing for a couple hours, that in essence, the enemies kind of come in the same general group. They'll be like a single heavy, a grenadier who chucks grenades at you, and a horde of zombies. And pretty much every group of enemies you find tends to follow this, so it gets old pretty quick. And, you may take damage throughout this, and you'll need to heal. Well, there's a couple different options you can do. There's med bays, or meta stations as they call them, spread around the map, and these are very sparing, so you don't really see them all that often. And there's also the ability to use in-game medkits that you use with the in-game currency to buy at a shop before getting to the mission. And sometimes you can get them as a rare drop. Now, the problem with the meta stations is the fact that you can actually get attacked while healing in it, and you can't leave the meta station until you're fully healed. Now, luckily, it'll only heal you a certain amount, and if it goes past that, you get released from it. But the problem is by that point, you're probably surrounded by a whole bunch of monsters if you didn't kill everybody. So most times you're probably going to end up dying there. If you do die, however, you can revive by spending in-game currency, which isn't too bad. It's acceptable. I mean, Borderlands did that type of thing. So it's a little annoying. I'd rather just have the option to just revive, or don't let me revive, but, it's not too bad. One of the biggest problems with combat is the fact that your guns have RNG style accuracy, which means that you may be aiming down the sights, which does help admittedly a little bit, but you'll often be missing shots that you probably shouldn't be missing just because it says, well, you're 80% accurate, so by default 20% of your shots aren't going to hit it. This is really strange in this type of game, especially in a first-person shooter. It's just, it shouldn't be that way. I don't like it. And yeah, you can increase your accuracy, oddly enough, over 100%, which I'm not really sure what that means, because theoretically 100% accuracy means that you're going to hit everything you shoot at as long as you're aiming at the target, right? Well, apparently you can go up to 206% accurate. I have no idea what that means. That seems kind of bullshitty to me. I'm not really sure. I'd like to see what that really means, like numbers-wise, like if that means, well, it's really like 100% of the original value, so it's 200 times that, something like that. Additionally, you can do the same type of things with your reloads where you have 100% reload. Well, 100% of what? Like, what is that? Look, I'm an engineer. I need numbers. Is that 3 seconds to reload it? 5 seconds to reload it? Is 200% reload? Oh, so it's 200% better, meaning, oh, it's only 2.5 seconds instead of 5. That would be great, but they don't really provide that, so you're just sitting there going, yes, I have percentage numbers. It's higher than before. That must mean good. Cool. If you're feeling like your equipment isn't really cutting it anymore, you can go buy guns, gear, implants, and abilities at the main hub. For guns, you can get pistols, shotguns, sniper rifles, assault rifles, machine guns, grenade launchers, swords, axes, knives, and high-tech guns. Now, high-tech guns, it's quite literally spelled H-I-T-E-K. Now, these things fire bioengineered organisms or corrosive chemicals. There's a whole bunch of different things. And they're actually kind of funny because if you read the little fluff on them, it makes them sound actually kind of more dangerous to use for the user than it is the enemies, if not equally damaging. So it's kind of funny. In-game, it doesn't really work like that. It's usually fine. It doesn't actually damage you, but it's still kind of funny. For gear, you can get equipment that'll give bonuses to health, the power you have, which that's used for your special abilities, and we'll talk about those in just a minute. And you can also get bonuses to stamina, so how long you can sprint, and your ability to use melee weapons. Also, if you happen to be wearing a complete set of armor, you'll get special bonuses that all help synergize and make you better overall. You can also get implants, and these are surgically installed upgrades, and these give you everything from additional accuracy to more strength. However, a kind of weird thing is that you'll hear a zipping noise when installing. I mean, like you do, yes doc, zip up my eyeball. Pretty sure that's not how that works. It's just like, oh, let me just zip up your spine. Like, I don't think that's how it works, so it's just kind of an error in the sound effects. Now, if you also feel like you need some new abilities, you can also go over to Danette, and she can unlock abilities for you. So after completing missions and leveling up, you'll get access to ability points that you can use to unlock new abilities, as well as upgrade points that you can make them better with. So you'll get things like slowing time, holding zombies in place, pushing them away, using effectively like lightning bolt, which is kind of funny, but you can use that. And these give you just combat bonuses and things like that that make you more powerful in combat and allow you to perform better. Now, this game was originally released as a mobile game on Android and iOS back in 2015. And unfortunately, a lot of this actually does start to kind of bleed over to this game. They did a really good job in general of making it its own game and kind of updating everything and making it feel more like a PC game. But there's still places where, well, it's not the best. For instance, there's times where there's a lot of the tap mechanics that would have been found on a touchscreen device that are kind of left over and aren't really addressed too well. For instance, there's, in fact, really at the beginning of the game, when you wake up, there's a door that asks you to press your fingerprint to open the door, which would be great if I had a finger to press. I'm playing on PC with a mouse and keyboard. Took me a little bit to realize you have to click the spot where you would normally press with your finger, and you click and hold, and then your fingerprint shows up and it's like, yay, you opened it. Additionally, you have cabinets that'll have different items in them, and you can go and press on them, and it'll say tap to open, and you have to hit spacebar a whole bunch of times. But clearly this was originally meant to be tapping on the screen a whole bunch of times. They don't even change the nomenclature, it literally says tap to open. And then finally there's things like, it'll tell you in some of the tooltips to go buy an XP booster to level up quicker. And it's like, it seems really out of place in this type of game. But don't worry, they'll make you feel like the greatest gamer of all time, because they have over 170 achievements that they'll shove down your throat for basically anything you do in the game. Like, I'm not kidding, you'll get 2 to 3 achievements for existing. Like, you'll complete a mission, you'll get like 3 or 4 achievements, for things like, "You shot an enemy with a gun!" Yeah, good for you. Graphically, it does look really good. They spent a lot of time to improve it over the mobile version, and there's a lot of elements to love about it. They really did a good job of capturing the sci-fi feel of the game, and you really do feel like you're on the inside of a spaceship. They've got the metal paneling, bundles of cables running through the corridors, sparks flying out of damaged areas. You know, they even have at this point we've come to expect it, the lens flare that I personally love, but if you don't, hey, whatever, each their own. The character models are pretty good. The animation, not so much sometimes. Some of the zombie animations get a bit strange, like this guy right here, he's just like, "I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you." It seems a bit strange. It's kind of funny, really. It doesn't look right. You can also tell they borrow a lot from other games and movies. Like, for instance, the Brog, which I'm not sure why it's a cyber dog, but it's called a Brog, like kind of like a bro dog, I guess. What's up? Anywho, he looks like Pinky from Doom 3. Like, a lot. And it doesn't stop there. Like, the teleport effects that the zombies have when they're coming in later in the game, really, it's the same as the Terminator 2 Judgment Day teleport. Yeah, that. Like, nearly identical. Same kind of electricity effect, orb of energy kind of thing. And also for the guns themselves, although, to be fair, they are distinctly different, they do incorporate quite a few parts from the District 9 weapons. If you've seen that movie, there's a picture up there to kind of show a little bit better what I'm talking about. But you can see like some of the canister, or like almost the orientations themselves are kind of taken from the game. You can see it quite directly there. So although, like I said, they're fairly different in general, and they went through a lot of effort to make them distinct, but it does feel kind of lazy and kind of like they were just kind of taking things from others to build their own game up. It's not the best idea. Now, surprisingly, the music in this game is actually really good. There's a lot to like about it. The combat sections are given a really big boost by the hard-hitting and upbeat tempo of the background music, and even when you're in the hub, it has a really interesting, I guess I kind of say it's kind of like a medieval twist to the sci-fi thing. You get this almost semi-harpsichord-y feel to the sound, and I really like it. In fact, I'll play a little bit of each thing here, so there'll be some combat music as well as the main hub music. The sound effects themselves are actually pretty good too. They, however, fall apart when used together. Now, what I mean by this is like each sound effect, like a shell dropping, you stepping on the ground, you firing a gun, each of those sounds really good, but when you use them together, for instance, when you're walking through water, they have exactly two sounds for walking through water. That's a swish and a swoosh. It's kind of weird. I would prefer them to have more sounds, so ideally if they could, upload like a sound pack or something to make it a little less monotonous, that would be great. The voice acting in general it's okay. It's not the best. It's either pretty decent with like Danette and Gunner, or they're just plain bad with Jane, Frey, and Kay. Like I'll play some of their voice lines and you'll see what I mean.
I'm Frey.
Yes, I know. Follow me.
You could at least say thank you.
Thanks for letting me out.
Wasn't that hard, was it?
We're not safe.
You want it easy? I don't do easy. I'm Kay. I kill people with my sword.
Alright, so time for the ratings. So starting with gameplay, I'm going to give this 6 out of 10. For story, 4 out of 10. For sound, 5 out of 10. Graphics, 5 out of 10. And for content versus cost, I gotta give this a 4 out of 10. I mean, for $20 when it's not on sale, it's just really not worth the money for that. Perhaps if you can get it for cheaper, like I said, if you get it on sale for 10, 12 bucks, something like that, that'd be okay. But 20 seems a lot to ask for this game. And due to that, overall, I'm gonna give the game a 4.8 out of 10. If you'd like to pick up Dead Effect 2 and play it for yourself, you can get it on Steam, Android, and iOS, and later this summer you'll be able to get it on Xbox and PS4. Alright guys, that's the end of this review. If you like this review, please leave a like or comment down below, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more reviews like this in the future, as well as other gaming content.